Today I want to talk about the Open Act, and Senator Hatch, my boss, is one of the sponsors of the Open Act in the Senate. As many of you know, there are 7,000 rare diseases, approximately, and only about 5% of them have an FDA-approved treatment. And so therefore, we see a lot of off-label use in the rare disease community. And there's a lot of downsides to that. Mainly, there's limited safety data, and there's also limited efficacy data. So we don't really know if they're working on the community. It's also, as many of you know, difficult to get reimbursement for those drugs off-label. And FDA does have some concerns with off-label use. But also, it is difficult to get new drugs through the development process and ultimately approved. It takes about 12 years from discovery to FDA approval for any given drug. And there's typically years and years of failed treatments before we even get to the discovery. And also, rare disease treatments can be very costly because it is a small community that these treatments are working on. So we started working with the Every Life Foundation, and the Open Act is what we came up with as a way to solve some of these issues. The Open Act seeks to repurpose existing therapies for rare indications. And this is helpful because it's more cost efficient, and it also takes a lot less time to get it through the process because these drugs have already been approved on a common population, common disease. So we propose to do 6 months of exclusivity for compounds that are repurposed for rare indications. This is modeled after the Best Pharmaceuticals for Children's Act. This was passed in 2002 and encourages pharma companies to perform pediatric studies on previously approved drugs for adult populations. And it's been very successful. I think FDA has done about 229, I think the number is, exclusivity approvals for old drugs that have gone back and done pediatric approvals. And this is helpful because the exclusivity works by allowing the company to maintain exclusive marketing rights in exchange for investment in research and development. So they have time to basically recoup the cost from their research. So we expect this to dramatically increase the number of treatments available for rare disease patients. We expect this to generate a lot of data. This is going to be helpful either way. If we find out that the treatment doesn't actually work, that's still very helpful information to know. And hopefully the doctor is able to put the patient on a therapy that might work. And also, an added bonus is that hopefully these treatments would be priced at the same level that they were previously priced for the more common population. So today we have introduced, last year we reintroduced the Open Act. The sponsors in the Senate are Senator Orrin Hatch, my boss, and Senator Robert Menendez. And in the House we have Representative Bilirakis and Representative Butterfield that are sponsoring. And we have a number of co-sponsors, and hopefully we'll get more this week. And we continue to look for packages to add the Open Act into. But as many of you know, last Congress, we also had the Open Act introduced, and there was a lot of success. It was bipartisan. It actually passed through the House in the 21st Century Cures bill, but unfortunately, it was stripped out in the Senate due to some concerns. There are obstacles to getting the Open Act through. Mainly, there's the drug pricing debate that gets included in almost anything drug-related these days, and it makes it difficult to do anything that is relating to exclusivity because inherently it is delaying a generic to market. So there are challenges there that require a lot of education, which is awesome that all of you guys are here to do that education. And also there is a cost to doing this legislation because again, it's delaying a generic to come to market. But those things can be worked out if we can get enough co-sponsors on the bill and show enough support for the legislation. And there's enough education within the House and the Senate. Hopefully we can get it through. So I would say if this is something that you think would be really beneficial to you or your relatives or your friends or anybody that's here today, to ask your congressman or senator tomorrow to co-sponsor the bill, and hopefully we can get it through this Congress.